Hey guys, what's up? It's the G back again with another episode of Lawless London this week for you. We have some great news. Some bad guys are behind bars. But what did they do? So sit back, relax, and we shall find out in this next video of Lawless London. 4 moped-enabled bandits who snatched mobile phones committed robberies in Camden, Islington and Westminster and targeted luxury shops for aggravated burglaries have been convicted at Blackfriars Crown Court on Friday the 15th of February. This result follows a complex investigation by officers from the Met's Operation Volcare as well as officers from the Met's Flying Squad. Those who pleaded guilty or were found guilty targeted Boodle's jewellery store and St Laurent in the West End of London last year. Suspect A. Miguel St Martin, 21 years old, born the 23rd of the 7th 1997 of Argyle Square, King's Cross, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit robbery in Camden, Islington, Westminster and the City, and conspiracy to commit aggravated burglary at St Laurent. He was found guilty of conspiracy to commit robbery at Boldle's jewellery store. Suspect B. Alfie Wary, 21 years old, born the 3rd of the 9th 1997 of Baldwin Gardens, Camden, was found guilty of conspiracy to commit aggravated burglary at St Laurent. Suspect C. Harry Doyle, 18 years old, born the 28th of the 7th 2000. Oh my god, he's so young. Oh lord, I'm impartial. Of Ranelagh Street, Islington, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit robbery at the Boldle's jewellery store. He was also found guilty of grievous bodily harm in relation to an assault of a 48-year-old member of the public. Suspect D. Reese Salmon, 20 years old, born the 6th of the 5th 1998, of City Road, Islington, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit robbery in Camden, Islington, Westminster and the City, was found not guilty for conspiracy to commit robbery at Boldle's jewellery store. The following have already been convicted for their part in the robberies. Suspect E. Henry Histon, 18 years old, born the 21st of the 2nd 2000, of Gilbert Place, Camden, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit aggravated burglary at St Laurent and conspiracy to commit robbery at Boldle's jewellery store. Suspect F. A 17-year-old boy who pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit aggravated burglary, namely 17 linked offences at 3 mobile phone stores across North and East London in 2016, and conspiracy to commit robbery at Camden, Islington, Westminster and the City. Suspect G. Another 17-year-old boy who pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit aggravated burglary, namely again 17 linked offences at 3 mobile phone stores across North and East London in 2016, and conspiracy to commit robbery at Camden, Islington, Westminster and the City. So these boys basically did the same thing and have been banged up for the same thing. Suspect H. A 16-year-old boy pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit robbery at Camden, Islington, Westminster and the City, and conspiracy to commit robbery at Boldle's jewellery store. He was sentenced in May 2018 at Highbury Youth Court after he pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit robbery at Boldle's jewellery store. He received a 2-year sentence at a Young Offenders Institute. All defendants will be sentenced together at the same court on the same date, which is to be confirmed. Operation Volcare was initially set up to target an Islington-based moped gang who robbed 3 mobile phone outlets between May and November 2016. As a result, 13 members of the gang and 3 handlers were convicted during trials that took place between August 2017 and October 2018. In February 2018, Volcare officers' attention was again drawn to a gang after they discovered that a garage in Macclesfield Street, Islington, was being used by another gang who were snatching mobile phones from members of the public in Camden, Islington, Westminster and the City between August 2017 and February 2018. A search of the garage recovered stolen phones, SIM cards from the stolen phones, and the handle from a broken zombie knife and a replica firearm. CCTV footage identified suspects A. Miguel St Martin, 21, B. Reese Salmon, 20, F and G, 2 17-year-olds, and suspect H, a 16-year-old. Recovered mobile phone footage showed the suspect stealing mopeds in broad daylight and threatening a security guard with a large zombie knife. During the compiling of evidence on the 26th of March 2018 at 1100 hours, St Martin, Harry Doyle, Henry Heston and a 16-year-old boy, defendant H, and 2 others yet unidentified people attempted to rob Boldle's jewellery store on Sloane Street, SW1. Armed with weapons including axes and samurai swords, 3 of the suspects travelled there in a stolen Land Rover Discovery, and 3 were on unregistered mopeds which they had parked nearby and a back street the night before. They tried to ram the rear doors of the building with the Land Rover, but were unsuccessful. They then attempted to smash the doors in with sledgehammers, again unsuccessfully. A 48-year-old man interceded and grabbed defendant H, but was set upon by the rest of the gang. He received a stab wound to the back and another to his knee, inflicted by one of the axes. The wounds were non-life-threatening, and the victim made a full recovery. The gang then fled the scene on the mopeds, leaving behind the Land Rover. Suspect H was arrested later that day by flying squad officers after he was found hiding in a nearby school. Oh my lord. Incredible. They also recovered the mopeds used in the robbery, as well as clothing, weapons and a phone used in the offence, which were submitted for forensic analysis. On the 24th of April 2018, at 12:15, San Martin, Alfie Wary, Henry Histon and an yet unidentified fourth person burgled San Lawrence store, Sloane Street, SW1. They smashed in the door and stole £90,000 worth of handbags and left on mopeds. On the same day, Op Volcare officers tracked San Martin to a hotel in King's Cross. He was arrested on suspicion of conspiracy to commit robbery at Camden, Islington, Westminster and the City. In his room, a zombie knife, 4 stolen mobile phones and 2 Saint Laurent handbags collectively worth £10,000 were seized. The discovery of the handbags led officers to investigate the Saint Laurent burglary. Store CCTV identified clothing worn by the suspects during the burglary, some of which were found in San Martin's hotel room. CCTV from the hotel identified further suspects in the offence, namely Wary and Histon. The fourth person is still to be identified. St Martin was then arrested for the Saint Laurent burglary. Information from the mobile phones in his possession tied him to the attempted robbery of Boldell's jewellery store. On the 20th of June 2018, officers from Operation Volcare and the Flying Squad arrested the outstanding suspects, defendant B and H. Detective Sergeant Danny Watts of Operation Volcare said, "These gang members were big operators in North and Central London. However, we secured a number of significant convictions and sentences against them, and they have now been taken off the streets. We are committed to taking every opportunity to divert, disrupt, deter and prosecute those involved with these moped-related crimes." Detective Constable Redman from the Flying Squad and OIC in charge of the Boodle's jewellery store said, "This was a brazen attempt to rob Boodle's jewellery store and a cowardly, vicious attack on an unarmed member of the public who bravely tried to intervene. It's by sheer good fortune that, having been set upon by 4 men wielding axes and swords, that he did not sustain any more serious injuries. This has been a complex investigation, and I hope the people of London are reassured that 5 of those involved in this robbery are now behind bars. Anyone who has information regarding these crimes or moped-enabled crime is urged to contact the local police by dialing 101. Guys, it's interesting to think here, what would you do if you was that guy? Great, you know, he jumped in, he tried to stop them straight away. He was a hero in our eyes, but at the same time, he became a victim. You know, it's hard to know what's around the corner, and these guys having axes on them, it's not something they can hide. It's something you can quite easily see. And running up unarmed to boys that have axes and are attacking a shop is never the best idea. The best idea straight away is to get cover, conceal yourself, protect yourself, number 1, then call the police. Your own safety is paramount than anything else.